Are you on a quarantine quest of any kind? Do you have a mission that, like, by the end of quarantine, think life would be different? For me, I'm going to improve in this kind of way.
That sounds a lot like a New Year's resolution. So no.
Yeah, I guess. You don't believe in the resolutions.
I absolutely don't believe in the No. It's like I have a love-hate relationship with my Google Calendar. It
Right.
100%. I would forget every meeting I had if I didn't have it always up in one of my pinned tabs. But at the same time, I find myself limiting my day to what's on my calendar. So I had a thought earlier and I was just like, oh, actually, I shouldn't work on this because I should be working on this. And I was like, the fuck am I doing? I'm calendarizing my own life by being like, don't think about that now. Think about that then. So I'm just like, no.
It's super strange how, like, we need a certain amount of freedom for the flow of creativity and for new things to come in and to be open-mindedness. But then if we actually want
to
head
be
in a certain direction, to have, did I say that? Whatever.
I'm just messing with it.
And then, but to some, like, I feel like structure in a way helps creativity a bunch too. Like, I get more creative the more parameters are placed on me. So I thought about that a lot too. Where's the happy medium? Where's the line?
You'd rather have, and I totally get the blank canvas theory, where the benefit of a blank canvas is it has edges. An artist could create for forever if he didn't have the limitations of the canvas. But like, do you prefer more limitations than that? Like, for me, the scariest thing in the world is like a blank piece of paper. That's like the number one scariest thing, because whatever I start, I could either fail by not finishing through, or I'll disappoint myself by not getting to where I want it to be. So like, for me, every single time I turn the page, every time I mark just a tiny little mark, so it's no longer a perfect page. Like, it's always somewhere randomly on here. Like, I can pull back another, let's see, where was, sometimes I like just drop my pen. Like, yeah, like one of these is just like a dropped colon. Oh, no, notes everywhere.
Do you set your notebook up like this, or before you start working, you have to like scar the page?
I don't even notice it anymore. I just turn the page, make a mark, and then I start writing. It's my own little like mental like snap the seal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it lets you get rid of the perfection tendencies.
Yeah.
It lets you be imperfect. To be imperfect is to be freed. For me,
ooh, Siddhartha. All right, let me settle in.
No, that's all I got.
I was waiting for a big theory. Like, I was like getting my drink all set up. No, I'm kidding.
When I have wisdom, though, we will get right to it. I will be like, I'll have a sound cue. I'll have a button for that. No, when I go to write sketches, if I'm just like, what do I want to write today? It's like nothing. You can't think of anything worth a shit. But like, if I had just a word that's stuck in my head, or like a very simple concept, like snacky foods,
yeah.
you can start from the tiniest place and have more options than if I were to be like, just anything, because that's boring. It's a boring place to start, I guess. Well, you gotta start specific.
That's why I use note cards, and I know people on the pod can't hear or see this, but it's note cards. Those are all. Oh, wait, can you hear that?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's so also dusty in there.
It's so dusty. So I just have note card because if I have a thought, I'll just write a word down. Like, there's some on here where it's just like, this one says, "Wish the word muff would make a comeback." That was a fun way. Muff diver. You know what I mean? There's so many, like, it's like a 70s porn word.
Yeah, right. Is it short for like muffin? Is that where that? Muffalato.
You know, the large olive oil sandwich that has roast beef. No, I'm kidding. That's you're I'm gonna stop my own jokes.
So do your different colored cards mean different things, or
no,
is it just
not at
fun
all.
to have different colors?
I have a giant stack and they all come in neon colors so I can find them at all times. All right, here. Tell me when to stop.
Boom.
Blank card. No, wait, maybe there's something on the other side.
Mark it up.
This joke, see, and again, none of them are. The other thing about the jokes is they're never accurate to me. Like, because this one starts off with "I'm gay." I'm not gay. I'm bi. But sometimes jokes are funnier like that, and I feel like people are gonna be like, "Wait, I don't know who he is." If I try to so this one just says, "I'm not gay," but oh no. Excuse me. This one says, "I'm gay, but not set fire to my house to meet firefighters." Gay. I don't even know
Oh
where I
my
was going with
God.
that thought. But
Dude, I didn't even tell you that firefighters came to my apartment not like 2 weeks ago when I
okay,
was still in Seattle because
tell me more.
someone got the food a little smoky and the
Fired
fire
guy.
yeah
Is
yeah
it cheese
and the
pita?
fire department or no the I don't know the landlord someone they had just had to redo all of the fire detectors. So they were like
They
new ones.
worked.
They were like sealed shut. They were oversensitive. You couldn't shut them off. There's
Oh
nothing we could do. Whole
no.
like fire brigade comes down the narrow, steep streets of Queen Anne, and this big ass fire dude busts through the door. He didn't bust down the door, but he walks in
No,
all
he's
calmly, but barely fit in the door. I swear to God, this man had to been like over 6 feet tall, and with all of the stuff, it was just. I didn't think I was hot for firemen, but it was
here.
the hottest thing I have ever seen
You're like, sir,
ever.
I enjoy that you're the size of my door, and I would like you to just land on me. Let me set myself on
Yeah,
fire real quick.
yeah.
Like,
And it was like my birthday. It was like the day before my birthday, and I was like, "Oh,
sorry.
I know, right?"
You're like, wait a minute, how do I make this work to my advantage? You're like, sir, it's my birthday, and the present would be the package that you brought me.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what was that? Nothing. I'm hot for you.
Take me with
What?
you.
Yeah. May I be your Dalmatian? What? I'm so sorry.
Show
I
me
don't
to
know.
the letter.
Yeah.
It was a good day.
Okay. Minus that house that was burning down.
He
See,
was
but no,
like, apartment 2 Bravo, food on the stove, and just walked out.
it's just like dumb kids. You got to
Exactly.
think that, like, for him, this is just like a giant eye roll, and I'm gonna go home and go back to playing video games. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I love like watching the friends of mine who are firefighters on Insta because it's just like chill, and then all of a sudden, bah, they're gone, and it was just
Yeah.
it's so cool to me. Like to
Oh, can
just
you send me their profiles though?
yes, I will.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Not all of them are guys too. There are some beautiful female firefighters
Hey.
because you got to carry a rope. Oh, no, you got to carry a rope. You got to carry a hose and climb ladders and save lives. I don't care what gender you are. Just save my ass from a burning building, please.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All that matters. All right, tell me when to stop again. Let's see where it takes us.
Go.
Again. Oh no, it's on the back. Ah,
You can't read it.
no, I don't. It's I.
How
So
many of these do you write when
sometimes
you're high?
all of them. Sometimes it's like so. This must be the finish because there's nothing on this side, and it just ends with I decided that I would cry, vomit, shit, or poop myself up here just to be excited. I don't know what the beginning to
You
that joke
you
was,
on a roof.
but
Okay,
I'm
so
trying
is
to
it set
find
up
it.
punchline? Is
Uh,
that how you normally do it?
something else. Like, well, no, sometimes, and I try to write like a little one, and then like a two, and then like a three if I go to a third card. But
Mm.
I decided I would cry, vomit, or shit, poop myself up here. Be excited, it's crying.
Do
Actually, that is funny. I don't know what it was. An end
you
joke
remember
too.
writing these all or no?
As soon no. So that's the other thing with me, and that's why I have to figure out like I put everything down on paper, and then I'm going to go through all of them, and maybe we're going to go through all of them. Maybe that's what this podcast is: Josh's shitty jokes, narrated by Caitlin, made fun of by Caitlin. um, so the way I've kind of like got this process down is I'll have thoughts, a random thought that either isn't something that I should ever tweet or is just like it's not a full idea, but it's like the starter of one. And then I'll
Hmm.
quickly put it on a note, and then if it's funny, I'll put it in one pile. If it's like let's come back to this thought. If it's just like it's a throwaway, but I wanted to get it out of my head, so I stopped thinking about it, I'll put it
Hmm.
in this stack. I'll put it in this stack, and this is my come back to later pile.
Mhm.
So this is like, I just forget about what's in here. Here, have me do it again.
There.
Okay. I keep random things in random places around the apartment. I like to keep my think obstacle course style. It keeps me limber. Helping me to train to forever have a younger girlfriend. Like, so, and this is a different color pen, but I wrote an arrow, so I must have had this thought and was just like, what's a funny punchline to that? So the joke is, I keep random things in random places around the apartment. Think obstacle course. See, now I need to rethink of a word to say that, because obstacle course style. Try saying that.
Obstacle course style.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I keep random things in random places around the apartment. Think obstacle course style. Keeps me limber.
That's pretty good. That's
Yeah?
workable.
All right.
Yeah, put it in the workable pile.
That's workable.
Are these all jokes, or where are your like ideas for movie plots and stuff like that?
That's okay. No, so that's in notebooks. This is jokes.
Mhm.
This is I live about 2 minutes from the Comedy Store, 2 minutes from the Laugh Factory in Los Angeles. I'm up in the Hollywood Hills.
Pauly Shore.
Yes.
They had
Yeah. I mean,
pizza.
obviously closed. But yeah, did you guys talk about, because you interviewed Pauly Shore? Did you guys ever talk about the Comedy Store, or like, you know, like his work, or was it more just focused on the con circuit and what he was doing?
Yeah, we did talk about his work a little bit as far as like his tours, where he was headed next. Yeah. I met him at a weird time where his father had just passed and his mother passed earlier in the year. Mm-hmm. So he talked about that a little bit, which is cool. Sure. It's cool that he could confide in me immediately upon knowing me. But I mean, that's the life of being on the road.
Yeah. I mean, you have to think that you have to connect. Well, that's the thing about being a comic, at least from outside looking in, is you need to have that like authentic self. Like, they'll know immediately if you're bullshitting, unless it's a character.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, which is so hard to do. It's
because you're in it forever.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday.
Yes,
how to shun the layers of pretense and holding things together and making it be how you think it should be, and like gradually getting rid of all of that and just being you. It's hard. It doesn't just happen over time. You have to like work.
Because you're an actress, and I have to imagine that when you put on a role, you put on someone's, like, you basically spend time getting into their brain. You get into their brain, you act as they would act, and that's acting. That's the simplest form of it. You need to think like and act like this person. But I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's some actors currently out there who show this off in their just daily lives, not their work, but like when they're done with the movie, it's not like that part of the character just disappears. That might be the only reason that I could ever be a good actor, is because I have such a short-term memory that like I could play like a traumatized psych ward patient, and at the end of the shoot, I'd be like, all right, let's go do some comedy. Just because I'd already forget all of like what people usually take into the role, wear on their back. And then have you ever had issues with like taking off a role when you're done? Like you find yourself like responding like the person or character instead of yourself?
Sometimes it gets stuck in your head like a song. Yeah. Or like how you find yourself repeating movie lines all the time that you like. It's like that to another level.
Have you ever had that where you've liked one of your lines and you're just quoting your own self?
No, but at Genetti's, when I do like the dinner theater shows, the comedy shows there, I have to know all parts of the script backwards and forwards, every character, and there's some lines, some jokes. Usually it's something someone else will say. And I just love it. I love how they did it, and I just do it all the time, especially when they're around. And I don't know if they like it or not, but it's the best.
You're like, let me murder this line that you have to say for the rest of the show for you. Mm-hmm. All right, give me another one. I have so many of these. Oh, I was all the way in the back. Oh, all right. So this is a multi-parter. This is a multi, because I have 1, 2. Yeah. All right. Here we go. And again, these are random thoughts that I have never edited after writing them down.
Hi. Thoughts.
Yeah. Why is The Office so popular? Millennials with too much freedom, open offices, no work hours. They're longing for that normal 9 to 5 with a wacky boss. Even the romantic aspect of the show starts at the office. No need for useless after work socializing. They can just go home after work and watch The Office. The British one, I presume. It's oh wow, that train of thought just straight up derailed because I finished with too many Office references. Jim on Tinder is probably just slanging some dick. So somewhere in here, I lost my own train of thought, and I ended it with, "I bet you Jim slang some dick on Tinder." Good for him.
I
I'm gonna
like
go ahead
the
and
idea
say
of the romanticism of the normal 9 to 5 because so many
that's
people don't have
that.
it. That's
That is why when I was watching The Office when it was airing,
yeah.
the only time I've ever sat there and waited for a show to start was the Rugrats, and then the next show after that was when I was adult-ish, and I would watch every episode of The Office, and my mom would be like, "I hate this show. That's what work was like." And I was just
Yeah,
like, not
yeah,
for me. I work in a
yeah.
startup called Price Falls where we lived in a fucking like sky ride, like a high rise, and I had a limo driver, and then I worked at Zappos, which is like fucking Disneyland on MDMA. And it
Mhm.
yeah, it's so funny that like I look at The Office and I'm like, you know what? It'd be kind of cool to have a 9 to 5 where like at 4:59 you're just like, boop, done. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, we long for a different kind of shitty than our own shitty.
Which is, yeah, it's not like the grass is greener. All of the shots that they didn't put in the show The Office, because it's a documentary, were them just working. So it's like the majority of their day they're being boring, and they only cut 20
Exactly.
minutes out of each day where you're having fun.
How
So,
weird would it have been to be on that show and spend all of that time in an office? Because you don't get to, it's not a 9 to 5. If you're shooting a show, you're there like for
you're
long,
there.
long, long, long days.
So I have started listening to Office Ladies. It's the podcast by Angela Kinsey and Jenna Fisher about
Hmm.
just their experience. They go episode by episode. They watch it and then they talk about it the next day.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool hearing how like the whole first season, everybody kept their day job because they didn't know what was going to happen.
Right.
So some of them would work in an office and then come to work in an office. Some of them are waiters, obviously.
Yeah.
Phyllis was a casting director for the show. They just liked her so much that they put her in the show.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my God.
I know. So it comes.
I interviewed Stanley.
Yes, yeah. He was one of those who my
Did he
favorite
have any
story.
cool stories?
He hasn't been on the show that I've heard. He probably has.
Okay.
But my favorite is they had Creed on the show. And his story was that he basically was a featured extra. And one of the assistant directors needed some B-roll footage of conversation. And because all of the like the rules around like being a featured extra versus being an actual cast member, different pay scales. One of the assistant directors caught him talking to Phyllis and I think Pam, and the average amount of lines for a featured extra was like 3 lines, and he had like 4 or 5 just in this one scene.
Hmm.
So he
It's under
basically
5.
like, yeah, he basically like
Mm-hmm.
snuck his way onto being a full-time person by just acting very well in a scene that they put him in, and then they realized like, well shit, now we have to pay him like an actor, so we might as well put him on full time. So that's when he
That's
started
what you have to do. But that's
ah,
also why it's such a tense atmosphere on most sets is because everyone is trying to do that because everyone knows the freaking rules and they know
yeah,
this is their shot and they know it might be their only shot. So
yeah.
it's like they don't want to let you do that. They're
What was
watching you.
okay, so let's go back before we pick another card. Let's go back to college when you and I
Okay.
met and officially became best friends. And maybe you're my best friend and I'm not yours. Never tell me that because I'll cry forever. But oh, you're supposed to say no. Of course, you're my best friend,
You are
even
my
if you're
best
lying.
friend.
Okay.
But you just shut me up. So I was like, okay, you should not say anything.
I'm kidding. But no, so we're in college and we get on a movie called Cherry. We both get featured extra roles. Caitlin more so. I have the charm to just say yes to whatever. So when BK says, "Hey, who wants to take their clothes off and be in a towel for a scene?" I was like, "Yeah, duh, I'll do that." Yeah. So like that's for me. I don't want to say I'm not a good actor because I don't actually know. I just played myself. But it's one of those afterwards when the camera stopped, I would talk to BK, the casting director. I would make friends with as many people. I'd ask questions about like what was going on set because I was kind of there as like representing you. So they kind of looked at me in that light as well as like, well, fuck, might as well put him in some stuff.
Yeah, that was a really interesting experience. Because they just like came set up shop on a college campus,
And then
and there
started
weren't like a
looking, yeah.
yeah, it wasn't like a bunch of like industry people or professionals there. So we kind of got to be a little more loosey goosey than we knew we should be. Just kind of play dumb and play it off and talk to the stars and invite them to sit at our lunch table. And we went crazy.
Matt
We did whatever
Walsh,
we
we miss
wanted.
you.
I know every time I see you in a movie now, I'm like,
Oh my
that guy
God.
is awesome.
Okay, just to tell that story real quick. Caitlin and I are sitting at the engineering campus of Western Michigan. It's 2 a.m. and it's lunch call. So we all break for lunch at 2 a.m. We're shooting this scene in the like a lecture hall where the professor is giving this assignment. And the professor is played by Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh has now gone on to incredible things, but at the time he was from Old School. He had done
Mm-hmm.
Old School, and he was one of like the guys who worked with Will Ferrell's character.
He's in every one of those movies.
He is
Like
in Veep.
you see him pop up again and again.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's in Veep. He is in a ton of stuff now, and he was walking by, and I had just remembered I was just like, oh, Matt Walsh is over there. Let me Google anything about him. And I think it was that he went to Northern Illinois University, the Huskies. And the Huskies were also in the MAC-10. So he was just walking around looking for a place to sit. And we're just like, Mr. Walsh, come sit with us. So he came over, sat down with us. And I think I was just like, hey, so you went to a MAC school? And then we started talking football. And then it was just like a normal conversation after that, right?
Yeah, it was so cool. We just talked normal things, and I don't really remember any of the conversation whatsoever, other than like, yeah, I like this dude. He's super likable, and you so fun and charming. Not afraid of a single person. You always get yourself into those situations all the time.
Well,
It's awesome.
And that's what I say. I'm not. You are an incredible actress. One day, maybe we'll be in another movie again because I've gotten better. But like, Jesus, we had one scene in the new movie Love Happens, which I'd love to talk to you about after. But
Oh,
for me, that's where it I like after the camera's rolling. I like talking to people, and then afterwards, after Cherry ended, BK reached out and said, "Hey, I'm casting another movie. Do you guys want to be in it?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, totally." Did you end up doing that shoot with the lake effect?
no, I do. I think remember auditioning for it.
That was he called me last minute. It was like 10 p.m. He said, "I need someone here at 11 to be back." I was like, "Yeah, I'll be right there," because it was like down the street from where I was living at the time. But the only reason he
Nice.
called me is because we were, he's a cool dude.
Yeah, is he still working? Do you know?
I think so.
We should look him up on IMDb.
Facebook. Yeah.
Say, hey,
Well, I think we're friends with them on Facebook too.
okay.
And Bill. And then, oh man, you chickened out on me. You chicken fucking out. Oh no, I think you were dating someone. Never mind. You didn't chicken out on me. That was the one movie where they're like, all right, we need 2 single people to make out in the background. I was like, done. Let's do it. Featured spot. And
yeah.
because of that, they didn't give me hazard pay or whatever that is, but they put me in the credits as Towel Boy.
Nice.
Yeah,
oh,
so
cool.
there was a scene where in the background 2 partiers had to just be making out, and then one of the main characters would like walk through them to get to something. So it was, funny enough, DC Pearson, who again is now in everything.
That's what I was gonna guess. I was like, was it Kyle or was it that guy?
Wild Bill, DC, who has been in a ton of stuff. My favorite was when he was in the first Avenger. He was in what was the second Captain America movie called?
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier. Do you remember when he and Natasha Romanoff go to the Apple store and they talk to the guy with a giant beard and he helps them?
Oh my God, that's was
DC.
him?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was seeing that and I was like, oh, that's funny. I was in a movie with him. I was like,
oh,
yay.
that's sweet. I remember on one of our first days on that set, you were like, dude, we're like, I just did the Kevin Bacon thing, and we're less than 6 degrees. We're like 2 degrees from
We are
Kevin
2
Bacon. And
degrees.
I was
It's
like, this is our
us.
first movie, dude.
It's us to Kyle Gallner, which,
Mhm.
Bud, if you ever hear this for any reason, love you. Still love your work. I've watched everything you've been in since. And he was the Flash on Smallville. So I was so jealous when he was there. I was like, man, that's my dream character.
I
Um,
still get people every once in a while that are like, oh my God, you were in Jerry. I love that movie. Or like, I watched it until I saw you. And I was like,
it
oh,
was on Netflix for a long time. It was on
yeah.
Netflix for a long time. And it was one of those, all right, so I'm going to literally do, because I think he's, all right, find link. So Kyle Gallner was in the movie Red with Kim Dickens, who was in Hollow Man with Kevin Bacon. We are 3 away. Kyle Gallner has a
Nice.
Bacon number of 2, so that means we have a Bacon number of 3.
Oh, cool. I wonder if I have any links through my other movie. I guess you have to,
Oh,
because
you probably now.
that's the rule.
Yeah, what's the
Any movie is just 6 degrees.
all right? What's another actor? What's like an actor that you've worked with? Maybe we can get closer than 2.
Um, Benicio del Toro.
You've worked with Benicio del Toro?
Yeah, I wasn't on set with him that day, but I was on one of his movies.
Oh, hell yeah! All right, let's see if
I
this comes
wish I
up.
got to meet him.
Oh, he also has a Bacon number of 2. It's okay. 3's freaking close. Because that's Benicio del Toro was in Basquiat with Gary Oldman, who was in Criminal Law with Kevin Bacon.
What about Shia LaBeouf?
Shia the Boof. Benicio
Yeah.
del Toro was in Sin City with Nick Stahl, who was in My One and Only with Kevin Bacon. All right, Shia
Okay.
La. Well, I don't even know how to spell that. Let's see.
BOUF?
Shia LaBeouf has a number of 2. Shia LaBeouf was in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull with Karen Allen, who was in Animal House with Kevin Bacon.
Cool.
All right, so 3.
I
We have
watched the other day. I saw Kevin Bacon's TED Talk about Kevin Bacon and the
about
6
him. Yeah.
degrees of. I didn't know that was actually a thing where he did a TED Talk about it.
Well, it's what's funny is it's really talking mostly about how small the world is.
Yeah.
And how within 2 people you know almost everybody.
Exactly. It's fascinating.
Isn't that
I
wild?
mean, I always think about this anyway, but it was just a cool talk.
Oh no, it's definitely worth watching if you haven't watched it.
We should
All
do
right.
some kind of crazy experiment to like get in touch with someone through our network within 3 degrees or less.
So who's a good target for that? Who's someone that we could actually talk to?
Well,
All right, we'll come back to this thought.
yeah, we gotta pick a
like
ridiculous
this.
person and then work backwards from there, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't have maybe because what I did one time, this isn't really that cool a story, but I was going to Atlanta and help my brother move, and I wanted to meet some actors there or something. So the first actor that came to my brain was one of my buddies from LA, and
Yeah.
I was like, dude, do you know anyone? Any actors or film people in Atlanta? I'm going there like tomorrow. And he was like, yep, here's my buddy Travis. He's an editor and his girlfriend is a casting director. I'll hook you guys up. And I went and I met with them, and they're the nicest people ever, and we're still friends. It was one ask.
That's
I
it.
asked one person at random.
That's it. That's 100% what it takes. That's
Yeah.
networking. I know LinkedIn's incredible for it, but you have to use it. I have 500 connections. I have thousands of connections now on LinkedIn, but it's one of those
Are
like
we LinkedIn? We better be LinkedIn.
we're of course. Well, you have to check later because I'll forget. I never use it. But it's one of those like you're absolutely right. It's so funny. That's a good way because you can type someone in there and see how you're connected to them. Because it'll give you like 2-3 degrees. Like I think I am 2 degrees from like Richard Branson.
Nice.
Like I've worked with Tony Hsieh of Zappos, who then directly worked with him.
Yeah.
So.
But you are like one of the super connectors of this whole mess. So if someone knows you, they know everyone.
I don't know. Well,
you're at the center of a lot of it. Remember, I'm going to prove this. Remember walking to Western, like to class, walking through campus, and then you often say like, "Oh yeah, I know everyone," and you would just kind of offhandedly say that throwaway comment, and I was like, That's an exaggeration. How could you know everyone? And then we walk to class and you have to stop and say hi to every single person. They actually say hi to you. Everyone stops you and they're like, "What up, Josh? What up, Captain? Whatever."
There was people for
All the
all
time.
four
All the time.
years. There were people for 4 years who didn't know my actual name, but knew one thing about me, and that was it. That was what connected. That, and I'll be totally honest. That's all it takes. You need to meet someone, remember one fact immediately. The first thing you do. I will forget your name before I remember or forget what my one fact is.
Hmm.
Do you know your one fact? Snow leopards. That's
Oh,
the first thing I ever learned about you is just like, oh, she likes snow leopards, and it just sticks
cool.
right there. And whether
Hmm.
it's ever useful or not, you see that person and you immediately have something to call to, and then you
Yes.
build details off of that. You
Right.
know what I
But
mean?
not
So like,
appearance. I think it's important to tell people if it's appearance related, like, oh, your hair used to be shorter. Like,
no. I mean, I
it
change
doesn't
my shirt
help
every
you.
day. No, I change my shirt every day. So it's the same thing. You have to like think of one connector that makes that person the person, and then you just
Hmm.
file that away. Like if someone wants to reach out on the podcast and hit us up at Josh Weaver or at who was it K-Burts?
Caitlin Burt on Twitter.
Okay,
Did you
yeah,
say Twitter?
let's just do Twitter. That's easy enough.
Yeah. Okay.
Talking about all of our social. So at Josh Weaver minus an E, you figure out which one, and then at Caitlin Bird, hit us up, and then I'll tell you the first thing I remember about you, because that's where you build facts from.
Mm-hmm.
You have that core idea, and then you add something to it. So for let's see, you were snow leopard, and then the second thing I learned about you is that you like to draw. And then like from there you just kind of hang facts on each other, and then it wasn't so much that I knew everybody, but it was just like I had a quick moment with a ton of people, and then from there you get to build and foster relationships. So I'd stop and I'd talk to people to get like a second fact and then a third fact, and then by the time you finally get to have a sit down convo with them, you already know a lot about the person, and there's never an awkward convo. So, and that's the other thing too. If you're ever going to go meet somebody and you have the opportunity, like just do research. I know it sounds so dumb. Google the person.
Right.
And if nothing
Yep.
else, you have a question. And if it's wrong, who the fuck cares? Because they'll tell you, no, that's so funny. Everybody asks me that. You probably Googled and saw, but no, I like blank. It's a really easy icebreaker.
How many brand new connections would you say you make every week?
0. I've been quarantined for 2 weeks.
Oh. What
No,
about
I'm
internet connect?
kidding.
Like, do you do LinkedIn thing and try to like, I don't know, become with people, friends with people on Instagram or whatever? Since I'll start up
Yeah,
conversations if
yeah.
someone did a sweet ass video, I'll be like, "How'd you do that?" Or like your color grade or
Yeah.
something. And if they don't already have a million comments, they'll usually talk with me.
I honestly, I do try to. It's harder because I'm just busy at work, and you're totally right. I miss trying to make those connections.
Hmm.
Um, I've been doing it at work. We're all stuck in quarantine, so every single work meeting I've had with either one of the agencies that we work with or one of my coworkers, I try my hardest to not start talking work until like 2 or 3 minutes into the convo, so we can have like an intro of catching up and
Yeah.
learning. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
still am trying to, but you have to like kind of force it, because it's really easy to pick up a call and be like, "All right, we're talking about blank, blah 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 blah. All right, goodbye." You know what I mean? So
Right, try to keep some of the humanness in there and not forget about it. I've done the same thing. I've like had to set up my whole like computer workstation because my mom's vacuuming in the other room or something like,
I
and I'm like, I'm
swear to
trying to do a
God,
work call.
that sounded like just a beagle upstairs watching a sad movie. It was just like,
I know.
oh,
But no, this stuff happens during my work
oh.
calls too. And like my work computer's almost like shot. I've had it for years. And so it has to stay plugged in. So I'm
Yeah.
plugged into the wall, but then it won't reach the computer. But if it is unplugged for a couple seconds, it'll just die. So I'm like pulling the whole table to me. And my dad's like, wouldn't it be easier just to like push in your chair? And I'm like, it has to stay connected to the wall because it's a piece of shit. And I hear my colleague dying on the call. He's laughing his ass off.
And your dad's just like, just get another computer. Like, it's not that easy, father.
IT needs to set it up. I don't know how to do these things.
I'm work from home. Deal with it. Do you know who hates work from home the most? My cat. Because like I just every time I stand up from my desk, I touch him. I touch him, I pet him, I scratch, and I guarantee you he's used to sleeping all day when I'm at work. So he is now resorted to like hiding under the bed when I'm like during the day. I'm just like, I just want to.
Aw.
Anyways,
Why does he not like people?
no, he loves people. He just wants to sleep during the day and play all night.
Oh.
So when I'm home messing with him, he gets annoyed. I can't tell you how many, like, I bet you pets are either like loving this work from home due to the quarantine or are just hating it.
That's what people have said. I've seen that on Twitter. Like, I don't know if my dog is like still likes me or if they're like, can you go back to work yet? Like,
I think you're just overthinking it, but yeah, no, your dog hates you. I'm sorry. All right, give me another one. Give me another one. Tell me one.
Go.
Also, I have another segment that we could add to the show called Wikipedia. And I'll tell you more about that in a second. But let's do this
okay.
new one. The second most important thing I learned about Texas is they always have good hot sauce backups. Hold on, let me restart that. The second most important thing I learned about Texas is they always have a good hot sauce backup. The first thing is they still have the death penalty, so check her ID. I didn't know where that was going.
You surprise even yourself.
I knew where that was going. I was just like, it's the answer's on the back of the card. I was pausing because I was trying to guess how I was going to end it. I was just like, what did I have for this? All right. Second most important thing I learned about Texas is they always have a good hot sauce backup. The first is that they still have the death penalty, so check her ID. All right. I think that's pretty good. I don't know. What do you think? Is that the good or bad pile? I'm crying.
That's good. That's
it
good.
Usually means that it's not funny.
Dude, I feel like your stand-up set could be okay. So if you had a bunch of these cards and
I
then
do. I
you
have
did a
hundreds.
similar. Well, yeah, but after you like shuffle through and find the ones that land, you could do your whole set like that. It'd be so. I've never seen anyone do it like that.
Where I take this and I say, "Hey guys, these are jokes that I wrote while I wasn't paying attention. Somebody tell me to stop, and I'll do that joke."
Yeah, exactly. And you could just talk to the audience in between, like we're doing.
Do you know Ellen, her first set, or I don't know if it was her first or if it was the first that someone big noticed, but the first that I remember reporting on, and always makes me think of that, is that what she did is she would go up on stage and she would start a joke, and then she'd be like, you know what? I actually have a burger here. Let me take a quick bite. I haven't eaten all day. So she'd stop her joke, she'd pull out the burger, and then her full 4-minute set was her starting the joke and then stopping to eat the burger and not finishing the joke. So that was her full set. And she finally finished the joke with her mouth full and you couldn't hear it. Or it was something like that. And that was her first set and people thought it was hilarious.
That's awesome. Like, I think Steve Martin used to do that. He started his whole career.
Maybe it was Steve Martin. Yeah, maybe it was Steve Martin doing that.
Okay.
Yeah. It was one of the.
Yeah, he wanted
to
do the anti joke, like break the formula basically.
Yeah.
And make a joke out of breaking the formula. What?
I said, or she stole his joke.
Oh.
Ellen's powerful. She probably
more of a concept.
Listening.
Yeah.
She's probably listening.
Well, remember, we were obsessed with Ellen, and we wanted to get on her show so bad. We tried to do everything. We tried to send in videos. We tried to like turn the cafeteria TVs to her every day we were in the caf. But we'd have to like stand on chairs or tables to reach the TV.
I had to like lift you. Like, all right, go.
Dude, we knew Ellen was the best thing ever before other people knew it. We knew.
Yeah, this was 10 years ago.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. It was more than 10 years ago. If we were
every
freshmen,
bone in my body just cracked.
Yeah, that was 14 years ago when we were freshmen, by the way. 14 fucking years ago. I don't know if you're hiding your age because you're an actress, but I just ruined it. All right, one more because I'm kind of now jazzed. Do you think, should this be the podcast? Let's
roll with it.
We have these, and then we have conversations, and
we need to think Wikipedia. We'll Wikipedia on the next one.
All right, no. I have to. I want to run that past you. How long have we been recording? I can't actually tell. Again, I don't have to take the visual of this, so I can make whatever weird face I want. I'm just taking the audio Hey, everybody on Spotify and iTunes or wherever you found this podcast. Thank you for tuning in to Trip Hazard Presents.
Woo.
Do you ever do that where you just like snap out and you recite whatever marketing verbiage and then you come back to like you're just possessed?
Yeah, I've
It's like,
auditioned for a lot of commercials, but I try to like just spew that out of my brain as soon as the audition's over. So I'm good at not remembering. It's just like cramming for a test. You don't remember anything afterwards.
I think where that kind of got stuck for me. Did you ever have server nightmare? Were you ever a waiter or a waitress?
Yes, I had server nightmare a lot. I even had quarantine nightmare the other day that there was too many people around and I couldn't get away from them. I couldn't
Oh
get 6 feet
God,
away. It was like a Mario Kart track where the edges, you could just fall.
that's horrifying. I
Yep.
would get such bad server nightmare. And it was always specifically, I have one on the patio and then one like 2 blocks away, not even in the restaurant. I had another table 2 blocks away that I also had that was my dream. I was walking from back and forth down
Dude,
this.
my nightmare would be I would remember something I forgot to get someone
Oh yeah.
at the restaurant
Yeah.
in the middle of the night. I'd be like, "Oh crap, they asked for cream." It was like that was 2 days ago. They
They're
asked for
like,
cream.
are
I
they
failed
okay?
you.
Are they okay?
I just hate how I suddenly remember later at the most inconvenient time.
So for
God.
me, when I would go to conventions and when I was working at my previous role, I would kind of learn how to pitch the games and the books and the art for all of the artists I
Okay.
worked with. They were all
Yeah.
incredible people,
Yeah.
but there were times when I would have to be thinking about the next thing I'm doing or what, like I'm trying to get math done. So my voice would just, I would have pre-recorded messages and I'd be like, tell me about this game, click, and my brain would be on one thing, but my voice would be like, this new board game is brought to you by the cartoonist. And it would just start.
Wow.
And then for 2 minutes, I had uninterrupted brain time to think about like, I got to get this post up. I got to get this mat. And that's why we called it this. And then like by the end, I'd be like, all right, I'm back.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But
I can
sometimes
tell you
like I
I
just
was
did
gonna
it with the trip hazard thing. It just
yeah.
happens. And I'm just like,
That's
ah,
an amazing that's so cool. That's a very cool. I feel like in a lot of shoots and stuff when I do spokespersony type work, I would say the whole thing and then but I'm not thinking about anything, I'm just blank.
yeah.
Like I'm speaking but no one is there.
Yeah.
But then I'll watch it back and I'll be like, I was so there. It didn't make any sense.
It looked like I was like, yeah. You're like, the 40th time I said it, it just sounded like Spanish. You're just like, I don't know
Yeah.
what I just said, but everyone else is nodding and applauding and paying us money. So I did something right.
Hmm. Hmm.
All right. Last one before Wikipedia.
Bam.
This is just an ad for Noodling with Josh.
Hey, it's perfect. Product placement for Taco Bell.
I'm going to put that over here. All right. What was the one underneath it? It just says, Jesus, ladies, 30 minutes into a great ponytail and I have the biggest headache. How do you
Yeah.
do it?
Exactly. Dude, because I had short hair for like 6 years, right? I couldn't put my hair up. Now I can put my hair up again, but not for long. I'm like, I don't like this. Like,
Why is my
why
head
does
hurting?
everything hurt? So it just, yeah, it sucks. What I don't get is all the ladies with braids and stuff. Cause I'm like, that's really pulling for like constantly, forever.
For a
For
long
like
time.
until you take it out. That's a
Yeah.
long time. So I guess
Yeah.
your your skull just gets used to it or something. But yep, it's terrible. If
I
you've
don't know.
never had long enough hair, then like you don't know. You don't
I,
know a little bit of discomfort.
I just now do. I have hair that's between my, like when I'm in the shower and it's wet, it's in between the middle of my shoulder blades. When it's like, when it gets all poofy and I have a giant afro during the day. But
Wow.
then when I just pull it back and this is like, I'll go 30 minutes and I'll be like, I either need an Advil or I just need to take out my head. And
Yeah.
I know I put it in too tight, but if I put it in any looser, it just falls out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know. And my dad had this deep quote in the quarantine recently. He said, Caitlin, you're a fidgety human. I said, thanks, Dad. But yeah, I cannot keep the ponytails in. If they're not super tight, then like in all my fidgeting, it's just like, where'd it go? Where'd it go? And then I was trying to eat outside today because it was finally nice. And my hair is in the breeze and I'm trying to just eat, but like I'm eating my hair at the same time because I want to stop blowing. And I was like, my hair tie. Oh, I fidgeted my hair tie out again. So I couldn't eat.
Or I'll let my hair air dry because I don't have a blow dryer. So for like the first 2 hours of the day, it's just in my face. And I'm just like, whatever. Like, it's just like, I'm looking. And you know what's funny is I would always see people with the hair that like covers one eye, or like they have the longer bangs. I was like, how do they see? No, I get it. Not well, but you're just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
This is it.
It's like having an eye patch if you're a pirate. It's just a modern day that.
Modern day eye patch. Oh no.
I want to
All
be a
right.
pirate. So okay, when yeah, we're gonna have more of these episodes. You know, just check out
Whenever.
our show. Yeah,
Yeah, no, we
add us on social medias.
Caitlin and I are starting to get antsy in the quarantine, and we're
Mhm.
gonna make quarantinis, and we're gonna talk jokes and
Yep.
work.
Yep. Watch my
Learn
movies with my Quentin Quarantino.
Quentin Quarantino. Yeah, you'll learn a lot about us over the run of this show. We don't have a name for it yet. We should probably come up with it in the last moments of this podcast, of
I
this
liked
episode.
I liked shitty jokes.
I like shitty jokes, or just shitty
No.
jokes.
Yeah, when you said that earlier, you like shitty jokes. Like, shitty jokes is kind of. I might tune in for some shitty jokes because what if they're not so shit? That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, they wouldn't have made a show if they were that
If
shitty.
they were
So
that
maybe
shitty,
they're good.
yeah.
Uh huh.
But wait, are we pigeonholing ourselves too much? I don't think so. Okay, man, we're gonna have to noodle on this. If anyone has any suggestions, maybe for this one we'll just put up a big question mark as as like the banner art for this one until we figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Or maybe something will happen. All right, you have time to learn some Wikipedia game?
Is it a game? What is it?
Well, I mean, there's a couple different ways we can do it. So have you ever heard of the how many clicks to corn?
No.
Okay, so how many clicks to corn is a Wikipedia game that you can play where you go to the site and you hit random article. It'll drop you on a random article. You then, only using the hypertext and the links in that article, have to see how many clicks it takes you to get to corn.
Oh,
Maize.
that's awesome.
So, all right, we just got, I have it up right here, and I'm going to hit random article.
Are you gonna do the screen share or the screen record share? Yeah,
let's find
or
out.
just walk us through it. Either way.
No, let's find out. Let's see if this works. See if the computer can handle it. All right, can you see my screen?
Yep.
All right, this one is going to be too hard for the start because there's like three. Actually, no, this will be too hard. Yeah. So you come to Wikipedia. On the far left side, you have a random article.
Okay.
Jean-Baptiste Joffre was born in the Diocese of Clermont and died in Paris. He was a French composer and entered the Jesuit order as a novice in 1621. All right, so we're on Jean-Baptiste Joffre's Wikipedia page, and we're trying to get to corn. My trick, personally, is to go the country route. All right, if he's born, he died in Paris. Because, all right, my guess is going to be, all right, you have to count how many clicks, okay? So you'll keep track of that. So we're going to click on Paris, unless you have any other suggestions. Let's go to Paris. So that's one.
One.
All right. So before we click anywhere else, Paris, capital and most populous city of France. Population of 2.1 million residents. That's a lot of people. All right, so let's see if they talk about export. Do they talk about exports at all? Economy? No. Tourism, culture.
Food.
Wait, where's food? Did you see food?
I was thinking, well, it should be under culture, but.
Oh yeah, restaurants and cuisine. All right, so I can't click on it because that counts. So I have to scroll down to 10.8. And the point is, like, sometimes I get distracted and I don't even finish the game.
You mean most of the time?
Most of the time. That's how the game wins. And then if you finish, you win.
Oh, okay.
That's one player mode. 2-player mode is... I should
play this on Twitch.
2-player mode is you play with somebody and who can get to corn in the least amount of clicks. 1-player mode is you have to remember the game you're playing and not get distracted down the rabbit hole of Wikipedia.
Okay.
All right. 10-8. Where were we? Parks and gardens, cemeteries, healthcare. It can be timed too. I've played it like that too. All right. I passed cuisine somewhere. See, look, this is like relearning the Dewey Decimal System. How?
It was like at the bottom of culture.
Was it really? It was at the bottom. All right. Photography, museums, theater. Did you know that they have a lot of theater in Paris?
Uh,
Restaurants and cuisine. Okay, here we go.
oh.
All right. So now we're looking through.
Oh man.
All right. So we have to think of. There's a lot in here, which is both good and bad. Because if there's a lot, we could go the wrong way quickly.
Yeah.
So we should look for like types of food. Bistro means quickly in Russian. I didn't know that.
Huh.
Brazier originally was a tavern located next to a brewery. That's weird. All right, maybe there's. So we have cafe would be a good click. We have bistro as a click off. What about haute cuisine? That might. Oh, this is
meticulously prepared.
This is cheating. They didn't used to have this little pop up before. Oh man, because then you kind of know what you're getting into.
I liked that one though.
All right. We're on 2.
Okay.
All right, so now we're looking on haute cuisine. Is that how you say that right?
I don't know. I was gonna say hot cuisine.
Hot. It's like haute fashion. It doesn't quite make sense. Nouvelle cuisine. Okay. All right. Conceptualism, minimalism. None of these clicks are going to be helpful. Oh no, we might have fucked ourselves.
Oh, I picked wrong.
We might have fucked ourselves. Wait, hold on. Let's see. Service, La Roche Bistros, home. What about? I mean, it's kind of, we're going backwards, but what if we clicked on French cuisine? Do you think it's going to take us back to the same place? No. All right, we're on 3. This is click 3. We're getting closer though. We're still in the food realm.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if French cuisine. Let's see if they have anything about what type of food, specialties, food and ingredients. There we go. Show me that corn. Show me that corn. Weird stuff like that. Also, if you see corn, let me know.
Is it like anything with like that's basically corn, or does it have to be like a corn on the cob?
No, you have to get to maize. You have to get to MAIZE. That's where you have to land.
Got it.
Now we're looking at. All right. So now we're looking at the food per region. So let's find a region that would probably. All right. Now we got beans, truffles. Does France not grow corn? Are we going to be? No way. Where do they get all of their corn? Uh-oh. We just haven't gone far enough.
Nebraska?
I mean,
it's Nebraska.
All right. Foods and ingredients. Tangerines, peaches, apricots, pears, plums, cherries, eggs, herbs, and seasoning, fresh fruit and vegetables. Guys, where's your corn? Oh no.
How do they even live?
There's wheat. All right. Are we going to do it? Should we just click on wheat? It'll get us there.
Okay.
But this is how many clicks? 4?
4.
All right.
Oh, I saw it.
Where?
A little bit left.
What?
In the middle of the page almost. Wheat. Cereal and maize. Right there.
Yeah. Yay! 5 clicks. We got here. 5.
Not bad.
5 clicks to corn.
Not bad.
So this is using your brain to play 6 Degrees from Kevin Bacon, but we're playing how many clicks to corn?
Wow.
But you had to use some. Okay, so who is good at nonlinear thinking? Who do we both admire, love, and wish we were? Sherlock
Jack
Holmes.
Black.
Oh yeah. That's also accurate. That's also accurate. Have you been watching? So, side note, this is going to be Josh's recommended for the day. Maybe we should work that into. We should take notes of all this stuff we're doing. Josh's recommended pick of the day. Josh's recommended pick of the day is to find and follow, which is what file means. find and follow Kyle Gass on Instagram. Kyle Gass is the guitarist and co-founder of Tenacious D, the unsung hero. He does the music and went to Juilliard as a guitarist, is incredibly talented. And he's been doing like once a day, just riffs at midnight or like super late in the night. And they're beautiful. And it's just him and an acoustic guitar. And he's sassy as hell. And his best friend is Jack Black, I hope. So
I have a recommendation. Should I save it for next time?
No. We each get to give our own recommendation per show.
Okay.
This is our show.
Okay.
This is the CBJW happy hour.
Woo.
CBJW. Kind of like CBDB or CBGB, but CBJW.
Anyway. Okay, my recommendation is Sir Patrick Stewart on Facebook, and he's been doing sonnets.
He has been doing
a sonnet every day, and the viewership is astounding. He has millions of views on these every day. It's Shakespeare.
Well, yeah, because he's a trained Shakespearean actor, no?
Oh, he's fantastic, but that many people want to see the Shakespearean sonnet is, whoa.
Isn't that crazy, though? Because there was a time where that was the new hotness. Of course, this is Edwardian England. But, like, now that we have the ability to be a global village again, when we're all connected on Facebook, it's like, yes, it is a man who is trained in the arts is you know what? Remember this, people. Remember who kept you entertained during the quarantine. Do you know who is just as, well, no, because I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, and I you know what? I believe it in its own right, so I will say it. But you know who's just as important as like the people on the front line? The people who are keeping us sane. Like, thank whoever.
Well, yeah, the arts are going to save us right now.
Yeah,
I mean, the doctors too, but in the arts,
of course. The science is the medically necessary piece that we need, but at the same time, without art, we would just be sitting here staring at a blank wall and hoping to not die. So if you get a chance, while you're paying your doctors, of course, make sure that we're still funding and giving money to those who create the art and the content that you listen to or view on a regular day. Sorry,
art is everywhere. We're going to start to take it for granted in this, but who designs your company's logos? Freaking everything is art.
Everything. All right. Should we do one more for the day?
No, I gotta go to bed.
Okay. I know. We have to figure out this time difference thing first.
Yeah, for real. Okay.
That was good. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the first episode of whatever this is going to be called.
Woo!
We'll figure it out. And the nice thing is we get to record this whole thing on Zoom. When we finish the meeting, I get an audio file. So if it works, awesome. If not, sorry, everybody. This was a test.
Good night, world.
Y'all are beautiful. Good night.